Hey, good morning. Welcome to Francesca Ascending. I'm Francesca. Today I'll be doing a tarot card reading with the Connolly deck by Eileen and Peter Paul Connolly. For a while I kind of slowed down doing readings. I thought I was getting some stuff through the cards that was just really negative, and I did have some readings that were just total garbage, and I've been filming content and it just seemed like content I wasn't sure I wanted to release because I'm not one to fearmonger, and I wasn't really trusting the messages that I was getting through, maybe just doubting myself, not trusting myself. And then I started seeing in the collective, in our community, there's a lot of really good tarot readers, oracle card readers, spiritual mediums, clairvoyants, and they started popping up on my feed like the algorithm or maybe the divine. Someone was really trying to get the message across, like, no, these readings are right. You need to trust them. They are accurate. I'll warn you, they're not very positive. They're negative. Like right now, it's sort of like a down cycle. And I know Mercury's in retrograde, but otherwise, as far as astronomy and astrology goes, things are actually pretty good. They're looking up, especially when it comes to abundance and relationships. Of course, this all depends on your birth chart, but yeah, I mean, overall, things are supposed to be better. So at the bottom of the deck is the Magician, and there's someone who's in charge of a society that views themselves as magical. I won't necessarily say that they are magical, but they view themselves as magical. And he keeps coming up constantly. He really is at the center of all of this, and he's very dangerous. He's very dangerous, and he's not being taken seriously. And I get Houdini, and I get a lot of files around him. So that makes me wonder if this is Epstein. So we've got someone who is getting their hands on some money, and it's a little non-traditional. It's the Three of Pentacles. So we know a lot of this has to do with money, or it could be offering kids money. The King of Cups, someone who appears to be very loving, who appears to be very kind and generous. So that fits right there, where kids are offered a lot of money doing something kind of non-traditional, outside societal norms, and someone who's supposedly very loving. A sword that could be interpreted in a lot of ways as, a phallic symbol, but also, a new plan. So like a new island, a new plan. Things are not going very well otherwise, but it's been taking a long time, and that's really irking this person. He wants to hurry things up. And then, of course, there's a woman with the Nine of Pentacles. She's pulling all the funds together for this new plan. And there are those who should be defending the victims, and instead they're defending these people and not doing the work that they should be doing. They're corrupt. And so people are feeling blocked and not receiving the recourse that they need to receive. And they're very frustrated. They're wondering why are we not getting what we should? In the meantime, there's all these people saying nice things, but not necessarily doing the things. So we have the Knight of Cups, making offers and proposals and all these goodwill gestures, but there's no real justice. And this is causing a lot of pain and a lot of trauma. And we have to understand that this isn't just something of the past. This is ongoing. This is still happening. We have more kids missing, and not just from the immigration system, but we have more kids missing now than we ever have before. Young adults, teens, people just being disappeared. It's really scary. Families not sure what happened to them. All of this for money, for these parties, for these people, for this collective. And this collective has truly decided to establish itself as superior to others, even though it's not. And it's invaded a lot of spiritual space, taking over religions, religious leaders, churches, temples, all kinds of spiritual spaces, but they're trying to paint themselves out as being spiritual. So be very careful who you follow and the messages that you receive. You don't want to get sucked into that only to find out too late that it's dangerous. And already, lots of partying. So that's kind of a sign there. Young people partying. Hey, sucking kids in through drugs are bringing him in with the promise. And of course, this all blows up. It can only continue for so long before it all blows up. But the question is the public actually going to do something about it? And I really feel like we can't rely on law enforcement or the systems in the United States of America or even around the world to handle it. Unfortunately, I really see people taking matters into their own hands and saying, we're done. We're done. And a lot of people are just going to be gone because they're just done with this. They're done. And if people can pretend die in jail or escape from prison and walk around free and be photographed on the streets of Canada or in Israel or other nations, Argentina, and get away with whatever the heck they want and continue doing business as usual, people are just really fed up. They're just done. And it's not going to start at the top level. It's going to start at the lower level. It's going to start at the people in their community that they see doing this. They're just going to go for them. And then they're going to work their way up the ladder till they get to the top because they're just done. They're just protecting their families, protecting their loved ones. They're just doing what they need to do. So there's a Queen of Pentacles. There's a woman who's a prominent political figure, a prominent figure, who's really the one in charge of this and has all the connections to all of this. And she's very close to this person, this magician who is behind all this. There's a strong relationship there, very strong relationship, like a romantic relationship. Born of temptation, man. So there's cheating involved, but also, you know, drugs, partying, reminiscing of good times is what I'm getting. So the lovers, so they are definitely lovers. And this is burdening someone else. This is someone's trying to bury the truth. Someone's trying to cover it up, but it keeps springing up. It keeps just showing up. So they're very upset. And of course, they want to monetize all this. All this is about making money. And I'm getting that all that New World surveillance, all of that technology coming our way, all of the stuff that we can't get off our phones, off our computers, off our devices. They're just finding targets. They're just finding kids. You know, it just makes it so much easier to pick the kid up if they've got their phone, know their school, and just swoop in and take them. Oh, sorry, government took your kid. Hee hee, ha 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 ha. Say goodbye. And that's when people are going to be like, no, you say goodbye. Yeah, they're done. That's their business. Their business isn't just controlling us and taking our money and trying to force us into a servant class or to be slaves. And take everything from us, which they do very easily over and over and over again. I've experienced it myself. But yeah, little kids are the business. Kids are the business, man. And then they're the world. Now, I keep getting this, and I've had some crazy dreams and visions and strong intuitive feelings over this. A lot of this is off-world. And so you see these billionaires and mega millionaires with their space companies and their space satellites, and they're, you know, talking about going to Mars or talking about going elsewhere. And it's not just about plundering the earth and taking all its resources and leaving it poorly, you know, inhabited or uninhabitable. But I strongly get a feeling that some of these people are not of Earth. And they have a real appetite, quite literally, for us. And for our children, it's like a delicacy. Unfortunately, I've had some strange nightmares. And so a lot of this is, in a way, like a hostile corporate takeover, but, you know, the leaders aren't necessarily human. And we have to accept that. We see countless television shows, movies, all kinds of things, video games. And I think that in a lot of ways, the collective of the writers and the creators of Earth, and the filmmakers and TV people, they're trying to tell us something, or their intuition is trying to tell us something. Like the message is coming through that collective, trying to tell everybody, warn everybody, hey, this isn't just fiction. This can really happen to you. These people have come in, they've posed as something, but their appetite for sex, for children, for consuming human flesh, for doing these things is not human. So either they aren't human or they're parasites inside of host humans, but they are definitely looking to take over this world. And what I'm also seeing a lot in my readings is that the technology and the advancement we've experienced just in the last several years is really indicative of its interference. We are moving too slow. For thousands of years, they got impatient. And it's interesting, if you look at ancient history and mythology and even ancient religion, there's story after story after story of visitors from the stars doing horrible things to humans, and the humans had to fight them off and kick them off the planet. And now they've decided, you know what, instead of that approach didn't work. So we're just going to speed up their development. We're going to get them on the internet. We're going to get them hooked to these phones and to this technology. And we're going to take them over using the technology and mass surveillance. And then we're just going to take whatever we want, however we want, whenever we want, and whomever we want. Yeah, the sun. So stars, that's their plan. And it's disaster, it's destruction. Those three just came out. They intend harm for us in our solar system, and they intend, I keep seeing the plundering of Earth, breaking it up for the oils and for the minerals, precious metals. And I see that they just want to lay us to waste, and that this is like the first really important step, and it's up to us. But that AI isn't necessarily AI. It could be a digital vessel for someone else from somewhere else. The same with machine learning. A lot of these people, the tech, they don't even understand how this is happening, and they will publicly say it like, I don't know how this is happening. It just happened by itself. No, you created a digital vessel, or you created something that an entity or a being from outside the earth could code, program, convert into something that they can use. And of course, for Earth, it's just entertainment. They're just keeping us entertained. But they're taking full advantage of that. And it's ironic how many scams there are, how many people are getting money stolen, how many things are fake, and the duplicity of it. And then when you look at the algorithms and the AI, and you're wondering, is this really humans behind this? Like, where's this really going? And there's been a lot of activity with the satellites around the planet recently, and they're showing that all this information and transfer of wealth and all this stuff isn't necessarily staying on the planet. It is going offshore, so to speak, okay, off planet. So, I mean, this scam is like, they literally came along, they're scamming Earth. Oh, and by the way, it's like In-N-Out Burger, to them too. Like, oh, it's great, and let's take their resources. And so I see that there's a woman here who thinks she has matters firmly in hand, and I see her as like the head of one of these tech companies. Like, she's really like the one steering the ship. But I also see a surprise here. Like, there's gonna even she's gonna be taken by surprise, because people are gonna be like, what is going on? And she won't be able to explain it. Yeah, this cup is overflowing with water here. So part of it is the water. The water usage, they've burned through other planets in order to keep their systems going. So they need our planet because of our water and our electricity, and they want to control the government and the religious structures and the systems. But I also see, ironically, the Pope's standing up to this. The Pope's just kind of like, no. I think the Pope knows something that we all haven't figured out yet. Yeah, and there is going to be justice for this world. But we're going to have to work hard to not fall for this and to kick them off the planet, because this is insidious. And wow, man, oh my gosh. I wish I was writing. I'd be putting that in a book right now. But unfortunately, just the people or the companies I used to write for have gotten very violent and vicious recently, but this explains a lot. You know, maybe some of us writers and creators and people were getting a little too close to the truth, and something definitely wanted to stop us. And man, they're really putting forth a good effort. So folks, that's my reading for today. It's extended, and I hope you have a good week. I know this is a tough thing to digest, but tune into your own intuition, pray, meditate, see what the universe shows you. But I really think the universe is trying to warn us, and I think a lot of people are blind to it. And it's not just a wake-up call thing. It's like it's a survival thing. You know, do we want to succumb to this, or are we going to say, no, we were perfectly fine without this, let's just move on?